Go.
Tú merengues. Carlos Betancourt de MetalCorrosivo, ¿nos pueden hablar acerca de esta piedra que traen, acerca de su álbum cúspide The Force?
Hi, welcome to Mexico. Hello. Thank you. I'm Alex. He's Carlos Betancourt from
MetalCorrosivo.
And he's asking about what can we expect of the tour now in Mexico. You are celebrating 30 years of the Force.
Yeah.
And now we want to know what the fans are going to expect on the show.
Okay, can we start?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically for this tour, we're playing the Force album in full album versions of the songs. Then after that, we're playing some songs off the latest albums, some of the first albums, and maybe a couple of surprises for the gentlemen. So it's basically the main crux is it's the Force album played in full album versions, and it's the only time that we've ever. Hello. we started without you. We tried to keep it as long as we could, man. But sorry, man. Do we start again? So what we're doing? So basically, it's the Force album in full, and lots of energy. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be really cool show.
Bueno, van a tocar el álbum de Force totalmente y van a incluir también algunas canciones de los primeros álbumes, los dos, y bueno, algunas canciones de lo que se está haciendo actualmente, básicamente en invierno, ¿no? Así que eso es lo que puedes esperar.
Siguiente.
Buenas noches, Arturo Rocha, Difusión Rock, en mi página de Facebook, Arturo Rock and Roll. Van a ser capturados en vivo por un servidor, espero les agrade mi trabajo. ¿Qué expectativas tienen de respuesta del público mexicano hacia su excelente música y el material que van a presentar completo?
What do you expect from Mexican public? Is your first time in Mexico?
No, this is the third time.
The third one.
First time for me though.
Then what do you expect from Mexican
I
fans?
have no idea.
Hey,
Crazy
very
shows.
crazy, you know?
That's what we're hoping. Some chaos, lots of chaos, lots of energy, and everybody has a thrash metal party.
If the shows are half as energetic as they were the last couple of times we played here, they will be excellent. And I expect it'll be better again. So one of my favourite places to play, one of the most energetic, crazy crowds in the world. I think it's going to be great.
Sí, es gracioso, que es uno de sus lugares favoritos para tocar, espera que haya caos, que allá no sabe qué va a pasar, porque es la primera vez que viene a México, espera que haya caos, que haya motivación, que todo se ponga, bueno, que es uno de sus lugares favoritos para tocar.
Excelente, thank you.
¿Quién sigue?
Next.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Olaf, de La Maga, Argentina. ¿Saben algo de las bandas que les van a testimoniar ustedes? ¿De las bandas mexicanas?
He's Olaf from Argentina. Do you know something about the bands who are supporting you now in this tour? Have you ever heard of them?
No. To be perfectly honest, no. I'm not really sure who the support bands are on the tour. We've been very busy in the lead up to this, so we've not really had much chance to look at the other bands.
But for sure we'll be checking them out. So we always like to check out the bands that we're playing with. So I'm sure they'll be excellent. But we'll make sure to watch them.
¿Conocen alguna banda mexicana?
Do you know some Mexican bands? Mexican bands?
I'm friends with Seaman.
Do you know any bands?
Lovely name, yeah. I'm a good friend of Saul from Seaman. Played Grindcore.
Pero
Brujeria, do they originate from Mexico?
Brujeria.
Brujería.
Yeah.
Así es.
Mexican American.
Yeah.
American Mexican.
Yeah.
Ok,
Hola, Ernesto de Tatuaje Expansión Radial. Vi que en el video comentaron que iba a ser la única vez que van a tocar el disco de Force. ¿Por qué nada más en México o si lo van a tocar en otro lado?
Are you playing the Force in Mexico only, or are you going to play the Force in other places?
We've been on this tour now for, this is almost 2 years. The demand has been incredible. We've been to China, South America, Europe, Malaysia, Vietnam, virtually everywhere really, apart from the US with this tour. So I think Mexico is going to be one of the last Force tours that we do. I think we're going back to Europe after this tour to complete one, and then this could be a finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of demand for this. Originally, the whole idea was we were going to do one European tour. There was so much demand, so many other people saying, okay, we want this show as well. As Nigel just said, so it's ended up pretty much a 2-year run. Saying that, the songs that we play in the set after the Force are going to be a little different for Mexico than we played anywhere else.
Sí, sí, entendiste. O sea, lo que comenta es que, bueno, que Ernesto llegó un poco tarde y que han estado tocando The Force en varios países, que, bueno, que en México lo único que va a cambiar de forma general es como las primeras canciones que van a anteceder a tocar el The Force completo, ¿no? Pero que en general, bueno, la gira ha sido la misma. Llevan 2 años de gira promocionando The Force.
El siguiente.
Hi, Mando Galani de Grammy Awards, The Best of Mexican Metal. Mi pregunta es, ¿qué proceso interno tiene que hacer la banda para decidir que en cierta gira se va a visitar ciertos países? En este caso en particular, México.
How do you decide which countries are you going to visit?
I'm basically, we get contacts from promoters in the country. You can tell on your Facebook page how many followers you have in a particular country, and Mexico is one of our highest, if not.
Yeah, I think it's the highest by some margin.
In Facebook only.
On
Yeah, because you can look at the stats and it'll tell you how many followers you have. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mexico is very, very high for.
yeah, like I said, I think it is the highest. So Mexico was one of the countries that was an absolute definite target. Yeah, that this we had to bring this show to Mexico. We were hoping to bring it last year, but obviously scheduling, etc., etc. So we fitted it in as soon as we could. Just not.
But generally,
Again,
sorry, I was just going to say generally we try to play whenever we can, especially new places we haven't played before, spread the word, spread the metal. Really?
exactly.
All right, thank you.
Que bueno, ¿cómo se contactan a los managers de algunos países? Bueno, que los países se dieron cuenta que, bueno, que México es uno de los países donde más seguidores tiene, y que a partir de eso, bueno, contactan al manager y es como se arma la gira, ¿no? Ellos quieren tocar en el mayor número de lugares donde sea posible para dar a conocer la música. ¿Alguien más?
¿Alguien más? ¿Dónde queda?
Bueno.
Hi, New. Esperamos tener en esta presentación en México, dentro del setlist, algo distinto que no hayan tocado en otros países.
De hecho, sí, en la pregunta anterior él te había dicho. He's asking about the set list. If you're going to play something different from other countries.
We're playing some songs after the Force. It's like we're playing some songs that we have played in all the countries, but moved things around a little bit. some songs that we'll be playing here that we haven't played anywhere else.
Hay
If they sound okay in soundcheck, if not, then we won't.
hay canciones que van a tocar aquí que bueno, no han tocado en otros países, van a modificar un poco el setlist de cómo se ha tocado en otros lados.
Your newest records too, like I don't know, Killing Beats, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's gonna be played.
Yeah, as I said, we start with the whole Force album,
Okay.
and then we go into a variation of our history.
Selected tracks that live.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't want to give too much away, but it's pretty old school set and very high energy songs we're playing. So
We wanted to keep it aggressive, so it's probably the most aggressive set that we've done.
Quieren permanecer agresivos, quieren mantener la música agresiva, van a tocar algunas canciones viejas, o sea que, y que también pueden esperar canciones de los álbumes más recientes, ¿no? Después de que se toque todo el álbum de The Force completo, vienen canciones más recientes, ¿no? Para que quieren mantenerlo como con mucha energía, con mucha agresividad, para que todos los que vayan sientan ese poder. Sí.
José Berlín de Metal One. La pregunta es, 1985 marcó una fuerte historia en Bristol por el álbum The Force, ¿no? Esa escena se ha perdido en la transferidad moderna de Inglaterra, ¿no? Bueno, especialmente en Bristol. ¿Por qué regresar a los clásicos de ese álbum? ¿Y qué es lo que está energetizando ahora la escena del thrash metal contemporánea en Inglaterra?
The scene since 1985, the scene, or when you throw The Force to the record store, there was a scene in England. How this scene has changed since then? Do you feel that the scene, the metal scene, is weaker than before?
The scene's still very, very strong in the UK. We still have the big festivals, Download Festival, Bloodstock, etc. I think thrash metal in the 80s was very kind of weird in the UK because there were so many fans, but very few rich bands. Everybody seemed to be a fan of thrash metal, but nobody wanted to play it. It was really bizarre. And Metallica would come over, Anthrax would come over, Slayer, put in really big crowds, but nobody formed bands. I mean, there was only probably 5 or 6 bands in the UK at the time. But the scene itself was huge. I don't think the thrash metal scene's quite as big in the UK right now, but in general, metal's still pretty good.
Yeah, I think back in the 80s, I'm not sure if it's the same yet. But with metal, people like to be in their own little groups, and because thrash metal was the most extreme type of metal that there was, it was kind of divisive to any of the other types of metal. So if you were either into thrash or you were into your 80s hair metal, or whatever. And I think, as Nigel was kind of inferring, I think now the metal scene seems to have just merged. So people are quite happily into the the modern stuff, into classic thrash, into the hair metal, classic rock, etc., etc. And it doesn't seem to have the same level of divisions as it had in the 80s. So as to say, if there's a big thrash scene, it's still incredibly popular, but it's not necessarily a scene of its own anymore.
It's not bigger than that.
It's part of the metal scene. The metal scene in the UK at the moment is buoyant, it's very good.
Bueno, la escena de los 80 para acá, de alguna manera dice que en Inglaterra hay muchos festivales, ¿no? Y que en Inglaterra pues, hay muchas bandas de metal importantes. Que la diferencia que podríamos encontrar en los 80, bueno, en los 80 había muchas bandas de thrash, pero no todos querían tocar thrash, ¿no?
En realidad lo que dijo fue que era una cosa muy rara porque todo el mundo era fan de thrash metal pero en Inglaterra había muy pocas bandas que tocaban thrash metal.
Todos somos traductores. No, está bien, o sea, acá exactamente, en Inglaterra había gente a la que le gustaba el thrash, pero había pocas bandas que tocaran. Y que de alguna manera el thrash ahora pues se ha convertido en una mezcla. Hay escena del thrash metal, pero de alguna forma es como pequeñita por todas las divisiones que han surgido, ¿no? Thrash de la vieja escuela, thrash nuevo, thrash, etcétera, etcétera. O sea, vamos, el thrash sigue existiendo a pesar de todos esos años, ¿no? Y que ahora la escena es más diversa de alguna manera.
¿Quién sigue?
Regresando a lo mismo, ¿no? Pero de otra manera, ¿cómo se sienten ellos realmente con la escena? ¿Nueva o vieja? ¿Con cuál se quedan ellos? ¿Con la nueva o con la vieja?
What scene do you like more? Old school or new school?
Old school.
¿Qué diferencia ven de lo que es el nuevo thrash?
What's the difference between the new school and the old school?
The old school is the original and the best. I mean, the thing is, most of the bands are still around. Like Creator, Onslaught, Destruction, Overkill, and everybody's still Testament, Exodus. Everybody's still making really good music.
Thrash by Aria.
Sorry?
Thrash by
Aria.
Yeah, and basically I think a lot of the new bands are just regenerating what the original bands did, so obviously old school's the best for sure.
¿Qué bandas favoritas son, por ejemplo?
Which are your favorite bands, your favorite old school bands?
Dark Angels is mine. Bands like Dark Angel and Voivod, if you're talking about thrash bands.
Probably maybe Testament from there.
Sí.
Va a seguir sobre la misma tónica. Para 1985, Prensa era una comunidad muy problemática, tenía cuestiones de mucha superstición por las cuestiones de las fábricas. Ahora Bristol es completamente diferente, es mucho más moderna, está más integrada al plan de lo que es la Europa moderna. Bueno, le va mucho mejor ahora, vaya. Entiendo que las letras de 1985 tengan esa agresividad. Ahora, pues parece aburrido, ¿no? ¿De dónde sacan esa ira? ¿Cómo siguen trabajándola? ¿O están tocando otra vez The Force solo por nostalgia?
He's talking about 1985 Bristol. It was a place with a lot of factories there. It was a different Bristol then from now. The songs you wrote in 1985 with The Force are aggressive.
Yeah.
With that scene around it. Now that we are in 2017, how do you get that aggression in your songs? It's not Bristol anymore. How do you get it?
You've obviously never been to Bristol.
Bristol's a very nice place now. It has changed, as you say, it's changed very much. Back in the 80s, Bristol was a pretty violent place, especially at shows for some reason. I used to go to lots of shows when I was a kid. First started at the early 80s when there was lots of punk concerts. And you could guarantee after every show there was a huge fight outside in the city centre area.
Only when you were there, though.
Yeah. Every time, and all the early shows we played in Bristol, there was fights all the time. So, as you said, we were built on an aggressive background in the city, you know, so, but the inspiration obviously came from that, and it sort of filtered through into our music. But nowadays, you look at more worldwide picture.
Plenty of things to get upset about, isn't there?
Such as things what are going on in the Middle East and everywhere. I think so. I'd say it's probably a more violent world now than it was in the 80s. So, I mean, we obviously draw a lot more experiences from across the world to sort of get the anger going.
Bueno, que efectivamente Bristol era un lugar complicado en los 80, era un lugar muy violento. Había una escena punk ahí en Bristol, y que efectivamente es ese contexto el que hacía que las canciones fueran agresivas de alguna forma, pero que ahora, bueno, Bristol ya es un mejor lugar para vivir, es mucho mejor, pero que ahora también el mundo se ha hecho mucho más, la percepción del mundo se ha hecho mucho más extensa, ¿no? Y que puedes ver todos los problemas que hay en Medio Oriente y en el mundo en general, y que de ahí es de donde sacas toda esta agresión para escribir las canciones, ¿no?
There's a part of the question that he didn't tell you. He's telling you if playing the Force is because being nostalgic, or what's the reason? The main reason is just because it's a good record? Or you guys have been playing it for everyone?
The thing is, when we came back, we said we didn't want to be a nostalgia band. So I guess we've kind of gone back on that a little bit. But the reason we've come out and done this tour is purely from fans. The fans have asked us to play this album
as it wasn't a big obviously
as it
big
was.
anniversary. So
and why not? I mean, if it wasn't for the fans, there would be no band. So our attitude is let's give our great fans exactly what they want, and that's what we've done. It's maybe slowing things down because we haven't had time to go and make a new record, which is the label aren't too pleased with. But I think the fans are happy that we're going out and playing this album, especially for them.
plus it's getting us fired up for the new album. And it's quite good because obviously playing an older album, but with I can't say more modern sound, but with a more sort of modern aggression to it. It's kind of like a different slant on I think what the next album is going to sound like.
Bueno, básicamente tu otra pregunta de por qué tocar The Force, decía por pura nostalgia, realmente no, se lo están haciendo para los fans, ¿no? O sea, finalmente es un concierto que se está haciendo para los fans, porque sin los fans, pues ellos no hubieran alcanzado el reconocimiento que tienen, ¿no? O sea, no se trata como de nostalgia, sino como de una forma de agradecer al fan que estén siguiendo la trayectoria de la banda.
Anything more than metal? Do you have any other kind of influences in music? What do you usually listen to when you are home?
I don't listen to anything anymore. I'm just sick of noise. It's nice to put some peace and quiet, I think, these days.
I listen to a lot of pop music, actually. To be honest.
Pop
Yeah,
music.
just because you find things in that you just won't find in thrash metal, for example, or just classical music, stuff like Stravinsky. It's just because then you can bring some of that stuff into what you do. If you want to write thrash metal and you're only listening to thrash metal, you're only going to end up writing stuff that just sounds like bad copies of the stuff you've been listening to. So
Basically, anything you like is going to influence your writing. You know, even if you're writing in a particular style, you listen to any music in any other style. You're going to get ideas that even if you're not aware of it, it'll help shape how you write your next piece of music. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's good to listen to all sorts of music because you're not full of ideas. Then you're not getting, like you said, you're not stagnated into one thing. Yeah.
I still listen to lots of punk music all the time. It's still my favourite music, old school thrash.
Yeah, I still listen to the same shit as I was listening to when I was 15. So. Disco all the way.
Staying alive.
La pregunta iba en el sentido de
¿Qué otra música aparte de thrash metal escuchaban? Y cómo la tomaban con Prensa.
y que bueno, escuchan todo tipo de música.
Desde pop, pasando por no quiere nada de ruido, por
Stravinsky,
Stravinsky.
Y la misma mierda que escuchaba desde los 15 años. Sí, funciona.
Una pregunta. Si nos pueden compartir si tienen algún secreto o cuál es el proceso interno que hace la banda para que se siga manteniendo después de tantos años. Pero bueno, un consejo, ¿no? Para las bandas.
What's your secret to get along about, ¿cuántos? 15? No.
No, después de todo.
How do you keep the flame alive?
How do you keep the,
So many years.
How do you keep the flame alive? It's been a long time you've been together. How do you keep the flame alive?
It's just exciting to come to different countries, come to do things like this, meet guys like yourselves, and of course go and play great shows for the fans. I mean, you can't get off on that. You ain't going to get off on
Still
that.
get a massive buzz. It's no different as it was when I first started playing. So get a huge buzz from doing this.
There's nothing better than playing a live show. I mean, it's just incredible. If you get it right and the crowd are amazing, it's just, there's no feeling like it.
That's why we still spend hours and hours on flights and buses
Yeah.
and cars and
Because it is a reason with it.
Sí.
Thank you.
¿Ustedes se dedican 100% a la música o tienen otras actividades aparte de eso, ¿no? Porque aquí en México las bandas de metal, pues no todos se dedican 100% a la música. Mi pregunta para
trabajos,
¿tienen otros trabajos oficios?
In Mexico, metal musicians do a lot of jobs. They are teachers, they are philosophers, they...
Liars. Liars.
TV stars.
You have a job.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky in the fact that everybody in the band is kind of works for themselves. Myself, I run a construction company. We can, because of the way things are with music in 2017, mainly down to the lack of CD sales and stuff, obviously. I think we worked out figures that bands sell all across the board, even Metallica, from down to the lower levels. Bands have seen a reduction of 90% of sales from the mid-80s, you know. So if they were selling 1 million albums in 1988, probably selling 100,000 albums now, as a point of reference. That's a massive loss of income for the band and the label, you know. So people have to have secondary employment for the most part on the sort of mid-level bands. So it's just not possible to survive without having another work. So I've gone back into construction and started my own business, which allows me to have as much time away with the band as I like. People work when I'm away, so I can come off and do this with no problems. And it's pretty much the same for the rest of the guys. We all do different things. Ian's a guitar tutor, Jeff does graphics, and
I do loads of things, session, drumming, drive-in, all sorts of things.
So
yeah, I do some construction work with one of my friends as well, when it's there, whatever's going.
So it's tough because we're obviously running 2 businesses. Onslaught, we're so busy throughout the year. I mean, we probably tour 3 to 4 months of the year, then you've got the other work for the band to do. So it's really tough holding 2 jobs now.
Bueno, la respuesta es que efectivamente también tienen otros trabajos, ¿no? Él se dedica a la construcción y él se dedica al diseño gráfico, o sea, de alguna manera para las bandas que no tienen como la trascendencia, digamos, metálica, que ha abarcado la mayor parte del mercado, pues bueno, todos los demás, los que se encuentran, digamos, a la mitad, tienen que tener un segundo trabajo para poder subsistir en la industria de la música, ¿no? Que a veces absorbe todavía más de la energía que ellos quisieran destinar a la parte musical.
¿Qué es lo que hace que México sea el lugar favorito para que vengan ellos a tocar? ¿Sabes los motivos por los que dicen México es el país que más nos gusta, donde más nos gusta tocar?
Why is Mexico your favorite place to play?
Because there's crazy motherfuckers that
followers in the Facebook.